You opened the show.
No, you had an opener.
No, you're the one who says like the intro and then.
Oh shit! I'm supposed to. Okay, howdy, folks. I didn't. You had the opener, so I didn't know I was gonna start.
Yeah, that's how we usually do it.
Okay, well,
like every episode, like this is our 31st episode.
Howdy, folks.
And that's how we've done it every time.
Don't interrupt me. I'm trying to do the opener that I remembered to do.
Yeah.
By myself.
The intro. I'm doing the opener.
Okay, well, let me do the intro.
Okay.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue, and I bumped the mic, and I love to read.
My name's Justin. I didn't bump the mic because I'm better at podcasting.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Speaking of podcasting.
Yeah.
I know what you're going to ask me.
Okay.
What do I remember from last time?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did not edit the last one.
Yeah. You made me do it.
We recorded early.
Yeah.
It has been
about 2 weeks.
2 weeks since we recorded.
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what's going on in the book right now.
You've seen the movie. Just think to the movie.
Yeah, but I don't know where we are.
You just don't. I've only told you like 10 chapters worth of material.
I don't know.
How do you not know?
It's been 2 weeks. I have no memory.
We're at let the 74th Hunger Games begin.
Okay.
So now tell me from there what we did last time.
They did the
Remember to the
testing.
Movie. Yeah, I guess, if that's the word you want to use.
They got ranked.
Yeah. And
now they're Hunger Gaming.
Peeta loves Katniss.
Yeah.
I was talking to your brother, my Bill, my brother-in-law.
Your good Bill.
My Bill. And I was talking about how much I absolutely hate like romance stuff, and he was like, "Oh, like why doesn't Hunger Games piss you off then?" And I was like, "Because Katniss is business.
Yeah.
Peeta might be in love with Katniss, but Katniss is here for the game.
She's a busy business girl.
She does not give a shit, motherfucker. She's like, cool, this is a really cool thing you're doing, Peeta. Shut the fuck up and let's win.
We're about to do life or death.
Yeah.
Games. So
yeah. Whereas in Twilight, it was like, and then Edward, he looked at me, and it's like, okay. Hell? Did she just bring that toy down? Or was that there the whole time?
That was there the whole time.
Okay. Talking about our cat.
Yeah, it's cat time. Our favorite part of the episode.
They're throwing a fit because we put them on a feeding schedule. And today's their very first day. So they don't know they're on the feeding schedule. So they're like, Ma, Pa, where's the food?
Food bowl's empty.
And when I gave them their food at like 7... none of them ate all of it, so they're going to be in for a really shitty surprise that their next food isn't coming till about 7 o'clock tomorrow. And it's already started, the begging and wanting food. So
let's do the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So we just talked about all that, and before we hippity hop into it, I just want to say that for our holiday present, for what do the boys call it? The Bam Brothers? The Candle Nights. Mm-hmm. For our Candle Nights present, if you could just leave us a review, that would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, I thought it was our present to them.
No. I want the... give me things.
Oh, give us the present.
I'm making things for people. I am slaving over these fucking blankets. Okay, anyways. On Spotify, it's super easy. You just write under like the bio or the follow button. There's like a leave 5-star. It's relatively new, so please do it. Send this to all your friends and tell them to do it, and your siblings and your parents, so that we can get...
literally every person you know.
That would be great. We only know about 15 people, so that's about where we're stuck at with the reviews right now. And we have a couple of new folks probably listening, so thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let's hop into the 74th Hunger Games.
Do you think that's what they said when they started? Let's hippity hop into the Hunger Games.
Yeah, Claudius Temple Smith was like, let's freaking go, girls. Let's hop into it. Which probably, honestly, he could talk like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how the audiobook person. Anyways, we're at chapter 11.
That's a pretty chaotic intro.
Your chaotic intro.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Mwah. They, as in the tributes, have 60 seconds of standing on this metal circle until they can move. And if they move too soon, they'll just fucking explode.
Cool.
And they're like really like the explodey bits are really temperamental because one time a girl dropped like her like home medallion thing, the thing that like connects her to, and she blew up.
Cool.
So that's fun.
Hey, secure that shit before the games, dog.
Yeah, literally. That's honestly, that is her designer's fault.
Yeah.
That's her person's fault.
That's her own damn fault.
Katniss takes some time to look around to see the cornucopia, and like it's just like all these life-saving things: food, water, weapons, medical equipment. And then coming out from the what
They just have like a CPAP sitting there.
They might. And everyone's like, "What the fuck is that? We've literally never seen one before." And as like coming out like in a ripple effect, or less valuable things just kind of strewn about.
Yeah.
So close to her, she sees like a 3-foot square of plastic, and she kind of writes that off. She's like, well, who cares? And in the arena, from what she can see, it looks like a flat open space, and there's like a lake next to her and a spine, like piney woods area. Spine? I meant sparse piney woods area.
Sparse?
Like, yeah, thinning trees. She can hear in her head Haymitch saying, like, don't fucking go for the things in the cornucopia. Don't do it. Life-saving advice. Turn
around and run.
Yeah. But she's tempted to go forward into the bloodbath because, as I've said before, love Katniss so much. She's a fucking brat.
Yeah.
And she thinks even though Haymitch has said this and has done really well up to this point, she can do better.
It's the audacity.
Literally. She has so much of that. And then she sees a bow and an arrow. Do
we need to do the podcast later?
We don't have later. It is 8:21, Justin, on Sunday.
Yeah.
God's day. We gotta wrap this up.
It takes a whole 24 hours to edit these podcasts.
Freaking takes a whole 24 hours for Apple to upload the podcast. Apple sucks. Okay. You're throwing me off my game.
Oh, yeah?
She's rationalizing about how she's really, really fast. She's a lot faster than the other girls in her class.
Fast as fuck.
Literally like toddler level behavior. She's like, Haymitch hasn't even seen me run. He doesn't know how fast I am. He
doesn't know how fucking fast I am.
If he had known how fast I am, what if that changed his mind?
Yeah.
So she's rationalizing. She's like, I could get the weapon, I could fight. And then she's like positioning her feet to start running towards the cornucopia. The last couple seconds are going, and she turns and she finds Peeta, and she can't really see what he's doing, but she thinks he's like shaking his head.
He's like, nah, dog, nah.
He's like, I can tell what you're doing. Nah. Don't fucking do that.
It'd be so good if they put them on opposite sides.
That might be what they do. They don't really say, she just says like Peeta somewhere
So like
else.
if you're teaming up with your person.
Yeah. You're
either gotta go through the cornucopia or separate and meet back later.
Yeah, meet back. And again, they don't know shit about the arena. Yeah. So he's shaking his head, and before she has a time to make a decision on if she's gonna go or not, the gong has sounded and she's missed her chance to like get there first.
Yeah.
So she's pissed.
I thought she was fast.
Well, yeah, but she was only really like if she got the extra.
She didn't have the reaction time. Mm-hmm. Okay, but she's so fast.
My dad says I'm really fast.
My dad's faster than your dad.
Katniss's dad is dead.
Oh, God.
That's like her key personality trait is that her dad died.
Brown hair, brown eyes.
Gray eyes. She's got gray eyes.
Dad's dead.
Dead. Yeah. Dead. She scoops up the sheet of plastic that was near her and some bread, and she's so fucking pissed that she'll be leaving with nothing. She sprints like 20 yards towards the cornucopia and gets...
A piece of plastic like that, you can collect rainwater with that shit.
You can do all kinds of shit with a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And she gets a bright orange backpack, and as she reaches for it, another boy reaches at the same time, but they fight, and as she do, he just like starts coughing blood in her face, and she's like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a hard fucking move, dog.
Bro, alpha move, cough blood in
someone's eyes so they can't see your fist coming for them.
Absolutely alpha move. Come on, kitty. Come on. There she goes.
I didn't know this was a cat podcast.
It is. I mean, that's all of our... The only way we're getting likes on TikTok is when I post our cats for clout. Check out our TikTok. We have our cats on
We use those bitches.
I'd rather use my cats than our kids. We've already talked about that. You're muffling the mic. They can't hear me talking.
Yeah, that's the important part.
It is. So he's coughing blood in her face, and she can see that the others have reached the cornucopia. And the girl from District 2 has put a knife in the boy's back. And, of course, Katniss is like, fuck that. And she bolts.
Oh. Okay.
Because she's really fast.
I was like, Does he have some fucking disease or
Just
shit?
has blood power. As she's running, she feels a knife hit her backpack, and all she can think is, thanks for the knife. Which is so arrogant of her.
Yeah. That has that kid's blood on it,
Literally.
probably.
I wrote here in my notes, asterisks. This pisses me off so much because Hamish has actually worked, like, really hard to keep this girl alive. Like, really hard.
Yeah.
And she thinks that in her 2 minutes of being in the goddamn arena, she knows better than him, goes against his wishes, and fucks up.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so frustrating. He has had 25 years of experience on this.
Yes. He has analyzed every single game. Like, you know that. He's not just sitting around.
He's probably sitting there drunk off his rocks, which again, when you're an alcoholic, just because you're drunk off your rocks doesn't mean you're not functioning.
Yeah.
Sitting there watching games, watching kids he's like raised for 2 weeks, which is not a lot of time, but it is when you're raising them for slaughter.
Yeah.
Anyway, she takes off into the woods, and as she turns around, she can see that several people are already dead. She goes off into a run, pissed that she lost her bread, and she's glad that she got a nice long blade with a serrated part near the handle. That was the knife that hit her. Then she starts jogging.
Serrations are overrated, dude.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah, especially for survival situations.
I think she just thinks it would be nice for sawing. That's like her thought, is if I need to saw, I can.
The best ones are with the saws on the back.
Yeah.
So you have a good clean cutting edge all the way down to the hilt, so you can feather and do all those type of shit.
Those type of shit? What's kype of shit? Justin, can you tell me what kype is?
It's like carp,
Oh.
but kype.
Oh, like a pike.
Nope, I said like a carp.
Kype of shit. Okay, anyways, fuck you. Then, like, as she starts going deeper into the woods, the trees are becoming familiar. She scares a rabbit, and she realizes she's more, like, inside of a valley than she would like to be. She likes to be up top. She feels, like, kind of trapped down there.
Don't try it, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Yeah, pretty much. She likes to feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is that who it is?
Yep.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Good job, Blue.
She's running for a while, and she's realized that she's like, wow, this doesn't feel terrible. Getting fat in the capital really paid off. But she still doesn't have any water. And in the late afternoon, she finally hears the cannons that announce how many children have died. She feels anxious that PETA will be announced, and she's confused about her fear of this, which, again, is so fucking, like, 16-year-old. Like, oh, PETA's trying to get, like, why am I worried about him? It's because you were friends with him.
He's a human being that you know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you can feel sad for people you know, people you don't know. I can understand if you don't feel totally sad about people you don't know. Like, it's not, like,
Especially
devastating.
in this situation. Because people you don't know dying is net positive for you.
And you really gotta separate.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Which is a horrible situation
being
to
like,
be in.
why am I... Because he was your friend.
Yeah. Also, bitch, focus on water.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so... It's the 3's rules of survival. It goes air, water, shelter, food.
That was 4.
No, it's the 3. So you have 30 seconds without air.
Oh.
You have 3 days without water. You have 3 weeks without shelter. And 3 months without food.
3 months without food?
The average person has 3 months.
Is that like if you're eating bark and stuff?
No, if you can survive not eating. Like most people can survive without. It's not fucking good for you.
Well, duh.
It's just like, hey, you need to build a shelter before you go hunting. Mm-hmm. Like,
and the first rule of survival is find Blue's apocalypse binder, which will eventually get put online when we have enough money to make a website and come to my apocalypse setup. And then the second rule is don't call her crazy. She has the first 2 years. So
okay, yeah.
Those are the first.
Those are the rules. Of the
yeah. And Justin, you can be my number 2.
Cool.
Thanks, babe. All right, so 11 cannons go off, which means 11 people have died, and 13 are left. Which is, you were like, what, do 12 people die in the cornucopia bloodbath?
Yeah.
I was like,
yep.
I think I said you're gonna be surprised how close you are. Yeah.
One off.
Literally. And Katniss could have been one of those 11, but she thinks that she's one of the 13.
But she's fast as fuck.
She's fast as fuck, boy. And of, say, the 13 left, so there are the careers, there are 6 careers, which means 6 of the 13 left went into the bloodbath.
Yes.
The 11 that died went into the bloodbath. I'm going to say every one of the other 13, which is 7, I think. Yeah. Ran away.
Yeah.
So Katniss thought she could be one of the 11 plus 6 is what? 17? She could have been one of the 18 people to go into the bloodbath and survive.
Yeah.
Is my math making sense what I'm saying? Okay.
She thought she was going to be the one out of the 18 that's either not dead or not a career.
Yeah. And it's like, what gall do you have to think that? Again, Thresh is like 6'3" and built like an ox, and even he bolted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he got brains too, baby.
He does.
He got stuff upstairs.
I would have loved to learn a little bit more about Thresh.
Yeah.
I think if I would, anybody in this book, yeah, even probably the next 3, I would want to learn more about Thresh.
I think it'd be a lot more interesting if Katniss died. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, have you ever watched something or read something where the main character dies?
I haven't.
It's so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of the anime, but there's an anime
Definitely seems like an anime thing.
where the main character dies like halfway through, and you're like, "What? Wait,
That was the person we're following.
Are they coming back?" Like, and nope.
Yeah, if anybody, I mean, I would still be fine to get a little bit more Peta's perspective, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be considering like how you and I know the rest of this ends, and if spoiler alert, both of them survive.
Yeah.
Like, if Katniss died right there at the end and Peta took over as the perspective, I would still
That'd
be
be so interesting. Like, if like they're the last 3 and they're planning on like killing themselves to get out of it, and fucking Katniss just dies, and then Peta takes over and
he's
revenge plots.
That'd be very cool. All right, we gotta keep going. Katniss takes some time to go through the pack, which is bright orange, and she's like, "Crap, I'll have to camouflage this," which obviously that's Peta's number 1 skills.
Rub it in the dirt,
Good
baby.
fucking try, Katniss. It has a black sleeping bag, which she can tell is like will help with body heat. Mm-hmm. Crackers, some beef strips, iodine, wooden matches, a small coil of wire, pair of sunglasses that don't work very well in the sun, and a half gallon water bottle, but it doesn't have any water in it. And at this point, she's becoming like, it's been half a day now? She's becoming scared that the only water was the lake she saw at the beginning. But she remembers that there was a rabbit and that there has to be more water around.
Yeah.
And she's getting hungry. She decides to munch on the inside of some pine bark to help her hunger, which is something she used to do when she was starving, and find somewhere to camp. She uses the wire to set up 2 snares, which, way to go. But she knows that'll give away her location, so she walks a pretty good chunk away and finds a good tree to sleep in. She finds like a nice fork in the tree, and let's say she's tiny, 120 pounds at her fattest.
Yeah.
That feels horrible.
You
know what I'm saying? Yeah, at her heaviest. I'm using the word fat because that's how they would say it in the book.
Yeah.
But at her heaviest, that's not terrible to climb up into a good sized tree.
No.
So she lays her sleeping bag down, then wraps her big belt around it so she won't crash down the tree at night. Mm-hmm. Night falls, then the anthem plays, and it shows at night the faces of those who passed because they, what would they say? If they had showed how the person died, it would give away how somebody else would fight. So if Katniss uses bows and arrows and somebody died by bow and arrow, now they know that whoever has the bow and arrow is skilled in that in that usage. I need to stop bumping the mic.
Yeah. Yeah, to both those things.
Screw you, you stupid list. No, I'm sorry. Please listen to our podcast.
Don't tell your friends about it.
Yeah. The careers from both 1 and 2 survived, but one of the boys from 4, which is a career, passed off. So I guess I got my numbers really a little bit off.
Okay, so one person that wasn't a career survived the bloodbath.
Was probably Thresh.
Yeah.
It was probably Thresh. She notes that Peta is alive, and she's relieved because she just tells herself that if she dies, she would want Peeta to be the one who wins.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Again, you would want it to be someone you knew instead of a stranger that's trying to kill the person you knew.
Mm-hmm. And she also realizes that Rue and Thresh made it, and Foxface and a few others too that she'd been mentioning throughout the book.
Yeah.
Then, in the middle of the night, she's woken by somebody snapping twigs, but not in, like, the way where you're walking on it and you've accidentally stepped on twigs. In a very deliberate, I'm snapping twigs.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Well, this person makes a fire.
Oh, they're not crunching, they're
snapping.
Yeah.
And this pisses her off. She's like, what a moron. She's like, now I can't even run. And she's fucking pissed. She's like, are you an idiot? Like, I know it's cold, but just, like, be cold. And she's complaining, she's like, I know not everybody has a sleeping bag, but at least stick it out until dawn.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, Katniss, not everybody has lived the same life you have.
But also, this is the best time to have a fire, because you know people aren't hunting now.
Except they are.
Ugh.
For a few hours, she sits in her tree, very furious, and right as the first signs of dawn are approaching, she hears a group of people running. And eventually she hears the scream.
Yeah.
And she's like, most likely these are the Creers, the boy and girl from 1 and 2, and then the girl from 4. They clear out so the Capitol can get the body. They're like talking. They're like, let's clear out before the Capitol, like, so the Capitol can get the body before it starts stinking. And they stop close to Katniss and they argue about how the cannon didn't go off, which means she isn't dead. And they're like, well, I know I stabbed her. And the other one's like, well, obviously you didn't. You
didn't stab her good enough.
And then finally someone's like, I'll just go finish her off. And Katniss is like, because the voice belongs to Peeta. Ooh. And she almost falls out of her tree. Oh. Chapter 12. And by almost fall out of her tree, I mean she actually did fall sideways and would have fallen into the ground if she hadn't had her belt around her. But she did rustle branches, but nobody noticed. She ends up seeing Peeta with bruises all around his face. He has a bloody bandage on his arm, and it sounds like she can just hear by his walk that he's limping.
Yeah.
So this pisses her off because this means he must have gone into the bloodbath. So he must have replaced the boy from District 4, number-wise. Oh. And
it's probably because he's faster than her.
Must be so fast.
So fast.
God, I mean, good try, Katniss.
Yeah.
Katniss is like a toddler, like a 6-year-old in recess, like, I bet I'm faster than you.
Yeah.
Peeta's like, nah.
Yeah, just walks up to people. I'm faster than you.
Yeah. It's like, you want to race? It's like, no, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So she's pissed that he did that. And not only that, but the fact that he's teamed up with this career pack, she's like, District 12 would be disgusted by him.
Yeah.
They're like, he's a lapdog to the Capitol. And she decides at this point that she will eagerly look for his face in the sky and signs of his death if she doesn't end up killing him herself.
Cool.
Again, big picture.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. Big picture.
He's like, what can I do to survive?
I don't know. Maybe join the strongest group of people in the arena?
And then fuck off when they start turning on each other?
The careers end up talking about him while he's gone, which is like a funny little bit of dramatic irony.
Yeah.
Saying that they should just kill him, but apparently he's handy with a knife, which she didn't know, and are the best chances of finding her. And, you know, they're talking about Katniss, obviously. And they're like...
she was ranked pretty high.
She's ranked 11 out of 12.
Yeah. So it makes sense to go hunt for her.
And they're like, she was so simple-minded on stage. I didn't like that they used the word simple-minded because that had a very bad connotation back in the day.
Yeah.
But, you know, they thought she was just a complete fucking ditz. Like, she did not make a impression. And they're like, how did she get an 11? And they're like, he knows. Peeta comes back, the cannon leaves, the girl is dead. And then the careers leave, and she just sits there, like, upside down with a lot of things on her mind. She's like, why hasn't he told them how she got her 11?
Yeah.
And it's like, again, Katniss, big picture.
Yeah. They also probably haven't asked yet, because that'd be suspicious as fuck.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Peeta, tell us, no, we won't kill you afterwards. Wink.
Wink. Give me the only intel we want from you, and we won't kill you after.
Yeah. And this is a big group of people. Like, it's, 6 people total?
That's a huge amount if you're talking about
quarter,
12.
Yeah, that's a quarter of the people who came in. That's half of the people who are still alive.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, I caught my breath. The birds fall silent, and the hovercraft picks up the dead girl, and she's triggered to get moving. She gets down and like she can kind of tell from like all her years of watching the games like when the camera would be on the best storyline that's going on.
Yeah.
And she kind of feels like her storyline happening of seeing PETA is the best one, so she's like knows the cameras are on her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like how you're like if you're on a reality show you'd be like, yeah, this is
what's happening.
I'm getting airtime right now.
Yeah, and even if there was something else going on, like, that would still be probably one of the top 3 things that people were focusing on. So she just, like, gives them just a cheeky little smile. She's like, let that hold them over for a bit. And before she leaves, she gets her snare, she got a rabbit, and she's like, I don't want to eat it raw, because something called rabbit fever, which is probably just bacteria.
Yeah, you know.
Don't eat meat raw.
Like, what is it called?
E. coli?
E. coli could be one, but
Salmonella?
Just think about food poisoning. That's what it's called.
Yeah, just food poisoning in general.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the coals where the girl set her fire. The fire that Katniss very much so disagreed with.
Yeah.
And cooks her rabbit in there. And she's like kind of glad that there are cameras so the sponsors can see her like being efficient.
Yeah, resourceful.
And she also camouflages the backpack with coals. And she starts moving. So this is day 2 without water.
Yeah.
She's dehydrated.
No shit.
Yeah, the sun is blaring. She ends up covering her lips in grease from the rabbit, and all she can think about is finding water.
So the game started in the morning?
Probably about 10 o'clock in the morning, I would say. Yeah, because they say something about how people in the capital get up late, so they're very lazy.
Yeah.
So I would say about 10.
Okay.
Yeah. What was that it? You just
I just was wondering how long she hasn't had water for.
Let's say 27 hours.
Okay.
So, can you tell me what would happen to the body with 27 hours, the lack of water?
You're probably just like your peeing would be very
dark,
separated, and dark, and your lips start to get chapped. All your mucous membranes would be dried out, and you'd just be feeling really dry. You know, like after like a big night of drinking.
Yeah.
Just like double that, and that's how dehydrated you would feel.
Make sure you drink water when you drink.
Oh yeah.
So that is, she knows she's in trouble. Her urine is a dark brown. Her head hurts and her tongue is dry. I feel like my head personally would hurt.
My head hurts if I don't drink water in like 2 hours.
Literally. We're very lucky humans to have water constantly because potable water is not something that's constant in the anywhere.
Yeah, even in the States, baby.
Yep. So the sunglasses from her pack don't work right, and she finds some berries, and she's like, I think these are blueberries, which would help with my thirst. But she's like, okay, I know I shouldn't eat them because I'm not 100% sure, and you're never supposed to eat something that you're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So, that sucks.
What do you mean by the glasses don't work well?
They look fuzzy.
Okay.
Like, they, like, reflect very weird.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah. I mean...
So it's like someone's prescription glasses that they just threw in?
And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. We learn what they are later. They are useful. She climbs a tree, but can't see anything. And she finishes this next... So it's been just a whole day of, like, moving, trying to find water. And the only death that day was the girl that PETA killed. The next day is worse. Head still hurts. Joints, too, which my joints instantly start hurting if I don't have enough water, but... I do have a joint issue.
You have a lot of fluids in your joints that people don't really think about.
Yeah. Like, well, not me, but...
your cartilage depends on water. Your, what is it?
Everything. Instead of, like, getting down on the from the tree easily, she just kind of, like, plops down.
Same.
She is not feeling good. And she knows she can't go back to the lake because, like, obviously that's where the career setup would be.
Yeah.
She feels like she's running out of options, and she remembers that Haymitch can send her things, and so she whispers, water, and hopes that they will end up sending her water ASAP. And when they don't, she's pissed. She's furious at Haymitch.
Oh my goodness.
He must be too drunk or something, and he doesn't care about her. Why is he making her suffer? He's not, the capitalist. He must be working to keep Pete alive and letting her die, but she doesn't, she knows she's throwing a temper tantrum. She's like, she doesn't even believe what she's saying. And she realizes that he must be sending her a message.
But honestly, if you sent Peter something right now that was, like, good and gave him, like, a inconspicuous note of, like, get the fuck out of there, you're halfway, you're already halfway.
Yeah.
He'd probably be the more likely to survive.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to go straight for him after building even the tiniest bit of relationship.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I do know, based on, like, all the books, that for the first games, Haymitch put his money on Katniss.
Yeah.
Like, put all of his resource and work into Katniss. And that was also what Peeta wanted.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Petus is a...
Because Peeta, if you don't know this, Peeta is actually in love with Katniss.
It's me, Petus.
What?
I said Petus.
But Haymitch really, like, put in 100% to Katniss. Yeah. And they're very similar people. Which is kind of like hearing that you're similar to your mom or dad. And you're like, nuh-uh! And it's like...
No.
But it's like, take a minute and think about how much of a compliment that is.
Yeah.
So, when he doesn't send her water, she realizes that he's sending her a message that she's close to water. And she tries her best not to look desperate for Prim, because she knows Prim must be watching this. But it's really hard, and, like, she's just walking, and she's just, like, trying, and then finally she falls.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, this will be a great place to die.
Cool.
It smells great. It smells like lilies, which I've heard, like, dehydration can make you kind of loopy like that when you're at your wit's end. She's like, oh, it smells like water lilies. She's like, oh, the mud is so nice and smooth. And then she's like, mud. Mud. Mud!
Mud, mud, mud!
And of course, because classic reading, she fell 5 yards away from, like, a pond. And she has enough self-control, which I'm not sure I would, to put water in the bottle, put iodine drops in, and then wait.
Yeah.
And she finishes 2 whole, like, half gallons, so a gallon of water before she gets a third and, like, settles herself into a tree.
But also that'd fuck you up.
It would.
If you go from complete dehydration to a gallon of water, that'd fuck your shit up.
She does have to wait 30 minutes for the iodine drops each time.
Still.
Yeah, but, I mean, that'd be a significant, like... She drinks them slowly, but I do hear what you're saying. It's like eating when you're starving.
Yeah.
However, after she gets herself to sleep, a stampede of feet shake her awake because out of nowhere there's a wall of fire coming down on her.
Cool.
I remember this part of the movie too, and I remember being like, oh, fuck. That sucks. So we're into chapter 13. Of course, she's safely buckled in, but now's not the time for that. So she unbuckles and grabs everything. She can't put it in the thing, but she's got it. And she starts running away from the animals that are running from the fire. She's like, they know best.
Yeah.
Which is true. Obviously, the fire is hot, but that's not worse than the smoke that's choking her. And she realizes that this is not a regular, like, person fire that got away from them. This is the game makers getting bored and wanting to move the tributes closer together.
Yeah.
So fire is going to be their method of this, and it's working because she's moving in the direction they want.
The Fortnite circle's closing.
Yeah. Honestly, great metaphor.
Yeah?
Yeah. Basically, they're like, you're not close enough to other people. Have some fire.
And do the dance. Do the Fortnite dance.
Katniss, do the dance.
Do the Fortnite dance.
Get it right.
Oh.
She jumps over a log, misses, and her jacket catches fire. So she, like, takes, like, a single second, and by a second I mean, like, 20, to stamp out the flames, shove everything in her backpacks, and she starts coughing.
Bro, just do a barrel roll.
Into what?
The ground. To put out the fire.
She fell, though.
Oh,
I'm yawning.
Idiot.
During this moment, she's coughing her lungs out. She feels like they're being cooked, and she starts to vomit, losing the little bit of dinner and water that she was able to take. She takes, like, a moment to rest, less than 1 minute, and by that time, the animals she was following, they're gone. She's about to start moving when she hears a hiss. And a fucking fireball blasts into the rocks a few feet away from her head. And she's like, okay, the game maker said moving. So then another hiss comes and she just drops, which pretty smart. She
does a death drop. Slay.
Katniss, do the roar. She throws up again, but nothing comes out. And she realizes like a shit ton of her hair is burned, and then hissing again, and she doesn't move fast enough, and she gets hit on her right calf.
Ow.
She just freaks the fuck out, rips the fabric away, and is scared, but thinks of the irony of her being the girl on fire. She's like, wow, the Capitol's having a fucking field day with this.
Yeah, I bet they thought of that too.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Now the attack's over. And she realizes the game makers have her in a position that is close to other tributes, most likely the career pack. And she just sits there. She can't see anything because of the smoke. She remembers like how bad burns are, and she fucking hates them.
I don't think they would push her towards the careers. Not yet, because she's going to be the finale.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they push her to the other non-careers first.
But you have to remember the game makers are probably mad at her for shooting that apple.
Yeah, but also...
They have to make a good game.
Yeah, they have to make a good game. If they don't make a good game, they're dunno.
She wanders around and ends up in another pond, which is like, if ponds were that easy to find, why didn't you just do it in the first fucking place?
She finds 2 ponds in one day.
Literally.
And then has been dehydrated for the last 3.
3 days. Probably she was just going in a straight line. She shoves her hands in and remembers her mom, who's, again, a healer, saying water is, like, a good first treatment for burns. And... just
dirty muck water. Put that in there.
Yum.
Put it in there.
Well, she also, like, remembers, like, a boy who'd been burned in the mines being brought to her. Her mom, and Katniss, like, freaks the fuck out at any sign of, like, ick on a human. Like, even coughing, she's like, I don't like to be near coughing.
Germaphobe.
Well, it's like, people who hunt, not all of them are going to be able to be doctors. Like, just because they can see blood doesn't make them somebody who's totally capable of that.
Yeah.
And so,
also, like, if you don't have any access to medicine, anybody sick is a threat to you.
Yeah, for sure. Even if your mom's a healer, you don't have, like, actual medicine.
Like, the cult could kill you. Like, it's not fun and games.
Mm-mm. She is too scared to look at her calf, but she finally gets some courage, and she looks, and she almost fucking vomits. And, like, trigger warning for grossness for, like, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
The flesh is completely red, covered in blisters, and, she's like, at least there's no bone showing.
What do you do, Blue, if there's blisters from burn?
You don't pop them.
You don't pop them.
But you want to.
I actually saw a thing where if you need to pop them, you use a syringe next to it, and then go under the skin.
So you don't expose
it
into
it. And you don't expose it. So you can drain it, and there's a more likely chance of it reattaching. The skin reattaching.
I have OCD, and sometimes it's hard for me to take.
Sometimes?
I don't like that. It's the wound's about the size of her hand, and she's tiny, so it's not that bad. And it's not blackened, so she soaks it, and it feels like okay, but it's not like healed. She gets her gear in order. So
it sounds like a second to first.
Yeah, I mean, like it sounds pretty serious, but not, like, morbid. It's not going to kill her, probably, if she gets some antibiotics.
She doesn't need a burn ward, or...
No. She'd probably go to... If it was, like, nowadays, she would probably go to the emergency room, get it cleaned, and then get antibiotics to go home.
Yeah.
Where was I? She's sleepy, but she doesn't want to leave the pool until she hears something. She hears running, which not as fast as before, but still pretty fast. And she climbs up the tree, which fucking sucks because her hands are burned and her leg is busted. But there are 6 of them. It's the career pack and PETA looking at her. But she's happy because while they're there, they're all way bigger and larger than her. So she feels very comfortable they're not going to be able to get up the tree. She's like
Yeah.
up in the tree, like in the branches that would not make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, like I know the cameras are on us. So she jokes with him. She goes, how's everything going down there? It's a little bit warm for me. You know, just like being like kind of brazen.
Also, you know that these kids didn't grow up climbing trees.
No. Katniss was a tree climber. True.
Yeah.
Tried and true.
Plus, it's not advantageous to climb up to someone you're trying to fight.
Nor is it advantageous to get up to branches that are so thin that you, like, even Katniss is kind of like, ooh. And she, again, weighs max 120.
Yeah. Well, even including the gear she
Yeah,
has.
including the gear and the fact that she was just, like, soaked in water.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, again, maximum. She's, like, starved. Like, her frame is not.
Yeah. Plus, she was probably starved her whole childhood, so her
Yeah.
growth is stunted.
So she's probably only 5'2", in all honesty.
Yeah.
I know Jennifer Lawrence is a pretty big person. Like, she's like me, where she just is a human and has curves and stuff.
Yeah.
I was reading recently that she's been on online lately for being silly. I just so don't love her. But she was like forced to lose a lot of weight to play the role of Katniss. And her body is just so not
It's not
that
the same
type.
frame.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, she has, like, I'm a regular human person. I weigh a good amount, but, like, it looks good on my body.
Yeah.
That's how she looks, too.
That's the thing, it's like with weight loss and like muscle building, people find these people that they want to look like, and it's like, dude, your frame does not even...
Your frame wouldn't fit that.
It doesn't even come close to matching.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's just... It sucks, but there's only so much you can do.
so to pick her, Jennifer Lawrence, to play somebody who's starving, again, I think she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
And she did a great job, but she doesn't look like she was starving, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she was, because they were actually starving her. Okay, anyways. Katniss sees that one of the careers, the girl from District 1, whose name is Glimmer, has a bow and arrow, and she's big mad, but holds it in. Kato, who's the boy...
Give.
Who's the boy from District 2, tries to climb the tree and falls twice. And they all, like, try for a bit climbing, but then Peeta's like, why don't we just wait her out? She has to come down sometimes.
Yeah.
But she buckles in. She just chills while they buckle down below. And as night comes, she finally takes time to chill. She's, like, looking around. And she's like, I'm in pain. And then she sees eyes, and she's like, raccoon? And it's like, no, those aren't animal eyes. And it's like, okay, it's Rue. Rue's up in the trees with her. And again, Rue's 12, 90 pounds max.
Yeah.
And Rue, very slowly, without making any noise, points to something above Katniss's head. So we go into chapter 14 now. She follows up, and she has no idea what it is until she sees something like the size of a raccoon, and she recognizes it as a wasp's nest.
Okay, so does she only know what raccoons look
Literally, like she can't.
Eyes? What is that? A raccoon?
A
What is
thing.
that thing? It's
A
about
raccoon?
the size of a raccoon.
How many raccoons does she see? Like a lot,
Yeah.
apparently.
What are those on the ground? 4 people-sized raccoons?
It's like, what's her face? Bella. Is that a horse?
Is that a horse?
No, it's a massive wolf, you dumbass. Can you see? So even though they're not raccoons up in the tree, it's also not a regular wasp's nest. It's
It's a sexy wasp nest.
yeah, they're called tracker jackers. They're killer wasps, and they're another type of mutation from the
Mutation?
capital.
It's like mutation but dumb.
Yep, you said those exact words last
Yeah,
time.
I'm gonna keep saying it because it's fucking dumb. Just
Look,
call
it's
it mutation.
Better than vampires. They're large, like a length of your finger kind of thing. Which I would say a typical wasp is like half of your finger.
Yeah.
They have a solid gold body. Their
Cool.
sting raises a lump the size of a plum.
Oh my god.
And most people can't tolerate more than a few stings before dying. And their stings, if you do survive them, have these just absolutely horrid like hallucinations and
Yeah.
like effect on everything. Basically, like the reason they're called tracker jackers is because if they can hone on the exact person who has disturbed their nest, they will track them down until they're dead.
Jesus.
So she's mostly given up. She's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'll just have to. She's like discussing the logistics of getting this nest down to them as her way out. She's like, I'll have to saw the whole branch off. That'll disturb the wasps.
Nope, don't do that.
Well, she can't get, it's on one of the tippity top branches out, so she can't get to it.
Break it off.
She can't break it off. It's not that big.
What do you mean?
If she breaks it, they'll hear her.
Who?
The careers, they're settled under her.
Yeah, but the wasp will fuck her up if she saws it.
Just give me 1 second. She's in pain, due to the burns.
Yeah.
And she ends up bringing herself to go up to the top of the tree to just, like, look at the nest. The branches are thin, and the wasps are oddly subdued, and she realizes it's because of the smoke. So the Capitol anthem starts, being loud as shit. And she knows, like, she has to saw now or never. So she does, but she doesn't get all the way through. And she has to stop so they don't hear her down below.
How did the wasp... Because the main thing that they hate is vibration.
Yes.
If it's vibration and it's not them, they fucking hate it.
They do start getting pissed, but obviously they're subdued from the smoke. It was the only thing the rebels learned, the way to stop them. So she struggles to get down to her back.
Doesn't she have rope?
No.
Okay.
She has, wire.
Okay. I was like, yeah, she could have wrapped the rope further along the branch and break it then after sawing.
No, she can basically only reach her arm's length out, and, she has... It's hard to break a branch from, the angle she's at.
Yeah.
Without... And since they are subdued, if she did get them down there, what if they didn't activate, I guess, is the word I'm gonna use?
They're gonna hit the fucking ground. They're gonna be pissed.
But still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets to her bag, and on the bag is a silver parachute, which is her first gift from a sponsor. And these gifts from sponsors cost buco fucking bucks.
Okay.
Bezos level money.
Bezos level?
I would consider it that, yeah.
Getting a yacht level, or...
More than that, probably.
Holy shit, okay.
And what she's gotten is just a small pot of ointment, no bigger than, an Olay container.
Yeah.
And she can smell that it is of medicine. She whispers, thanks to Haymitch. And, she knows that he has not let her, go.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, you fucking moron. Anyway. She pokes her finger in the ointment, and the burns on her finger instantly feel better.
That's
so
awesome.
she starts,
cool.
Covering this ointment all around. And she's very quickly able to feel relief and get some sleep.
Yeah.
In the morning, she packs and applies another layer, and her wounds are looking way fucking better. Mm-hmm. She goes to the top and decides to warn Rue, who heads off. And this is when Katniss can tell now that she's been moving around, she's navigating, this is how she can tell how Rue is navigating around.
Yeah.
Rue is jumping from tree to tree to...
Jesus.
Son of a bitch, I hit the mic again. I'm such a hand talker. She's going from tree to tree to tree at the very tippity tops. And she's going fast. She's not a slow. She saws again, but the wasps are up this time. So she has to go really quickly. And, she gets stung on the knee.
Ow.
And finally, the branch breaks. She shoves it, and it falls and breaks like an egg into the career camp. All right, so I'm going to say for the next 5 minutes, a gore warning, I guess.
Yeah, gross icky.
Yeah, again, children's book, but it makes me uncomfy. So she gets another sting on her cheek and a third on her neck, and she's very quickly feeling
Dude, on your
woozy.
neck.
But she has enough brains to rip the stingers out, and they're barbed.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, the careers are up,
Wait.
and they're moving.
Wasps don't leave their stingers.
These aren't regular wasps.
Okay.
They're mutations.
Oh.
Okay.
The dumb thing.
So they're running to the lake, but Glimmer, the girl from District 1, and the girl from District 4 are not so lucky. Glimmer is going fucking apeshit. She's screaming for help, but obviously nobody's coming to help her.
Yeah, dude. You're on your own for this one.
The girl from District 4 kind of heads into the woods to die, but Glimmer's down, getting the brunt of it. She's twitching hysterically, and then she goes still. Katniss gets down to the tree, running in the opposite direction. she finds a small pond and submerges herself, hoping that it makes her feel better. And it does, but she takes a minute to look at the one on her knee, which is not now the size of an orange, and
Jesus.
ooey, is oozing a green, foul-smelling liquid.
She doesn't have enough fluid for that, though. You know?
Again, this could be a hallucination.
Okay.
But who knows? I don't. Even Katniss.
I know.
You know? She doesn't have enough fluid for that.
She doesn't.
Okay. She doesn't even know what to do, and she's just freaking out. She's just like, Glimmer fucking twitched to death below me. She's like, and then she goes, Glimmer had the bow.
Bruh.
And she knows she has to go back to get it, because she hasn't heard the cannon fire yet, which means Glimmer hasn't been taken by the Capitol. And I'm gonna read the part when she goes to Glimmer.
Yeah, dude. Loot.
Loot, yeah.
This is my thing in, like, nearly all media. If you do not have the resources you need, and you kill someone, steal their shit. You've already killed them. You've already lost the moral battle.
Yeah.
Steal their shit.
Literally. Okay. Ugh. So I'm going to read it exactly. It's going to take a minute, but it just the effect it had on me as a child. Like, I still remember this as an adult, and I'll, like, sometimes, Justin and I will be watching a movie, and I'm like, not as gross as when Katniss had to go break Katniss's... Okay.
That is true. She does
do that. I do it a lot, because it really had an effect on me. I reached Glimmer just as the cannon fire. The tracker jackers had vanished, and this girl, so breathtakingly beautiful in her golden dress the night of the interviews, is unrecognizable. Her features eradicated. Her limbs three times their normal size. The stinger lumps have begun to explode, spewing putrid green liquid around her. I have to break several of what used to be her fingers with a stone to free the bow.
Jesus
The sheath of arrows is pinned behind her back. I try to roll over her body by pulling on one arm, but the flesh disintegrates in my hand and I fall to the ground.
Ugh.
Is this real, or have the hallucinations begun? I squeeze my eyes tight and try to breathe through my mouth, ordering myself not to become sick. Breakfast must stay down. It might be days before I can hunt again. A second cannon fires, and I'm guessing the girl from District 4 has just died. I hear the birds fall silent, and one give the warning call, which means the hovercraft is going to appear. Confused, I think it's Glimmer, and although this doesn't quite make sense because I'm still in the picture, still fighting for arrows, I lurch onto my knees, and the trees around me begin to spin in circles. In the middle of the sky, I spot the hovercraft, and I throw myself over Glimmer's body as if to protect it, but I end up seeing the girl from District 4 being vanished into the air. One more paragraph. Do this, I command myself. Clenching my jaw, I dig my hands under Glimmer's body and get a hold of what must be her ribcage and force her onto her stomach. And I can't help it, I'm hyperventilating now.
So she reaches into this person.
Not like in, but kind of in, like under and in.
Dude, that's in.
She could be hallucinating.
If you're touching the inside of her ribcage, you're in.
She feels like that's where she's at. I'm hyperventilating now. This whole thing is so nightmarish, and I'm losing my grasp on what's real. I tug on the silver sheath of arrows, but it's caught on something. Her shoulder blade. Something. Finally, it yanks free. I've encircled the sheath with my arms when I hear the footsteps, several pairs coming through the underbrush.
So she started instantly rotting.
That is what Katniss has perceived, yes. And again, the breaking of the fingers is really what got me as a kid. I did not like that part. I didn't like the swelling and the disintegrating part. So
yeah, no shit. Yeah. really no shit.
Really no shit. But
I didn't like that. I'm 25 years old.
Yeah. And you've seen the movie, so you knew something along these lines was coming.
Yeah. And you told me about it. You told me about it a lot.
I honestly talk about this a lot because, like, it really, as a kid, like, I could picture it.
It is crazy to me, the shit that is in books that, like, is just fine.
And they're for kids.
And they're for kids. It's like, yeah, I don't want a fucking government agency to be like, this is what you can put in your books. But also just, like, a general, like, hey, it has some fucked up spots. Yeah. Like, this could have been easily edited out and not change the storyline at all.
No. Like, Katniss was hallucinating and she got the arrows.
Now, if it was an adult's book, this would be a cool scene.
If it was an adult book, this book would be boss as shit because it really speaks to the dystopia of, like,
Yeah.
the reality games and war.
Yeah.
And that, I would read the shit. We did read the shit out of a Hunger Games adult book, Red Rising.
Yeah. Like, it's super interesting.
Yeah, and all the details in Red Rising are really good because they're fucking morbid.
Yeah.
But I was expecting them now as an adult.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting morbid in a... I'm expecting, you know, a little bit like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I am not excited to police the media our children consume.
No.
Because, like, there's so... there's so fucking much media.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the YouTube kids shit? That's... Ugh.
And I do think there is... Okay, so again, I said I read this in my 7th grade reading class. It must have just come out, so I was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 12, because I'm in the younger age. I was 11 or 12. It didn't disturb me because it was, like, the first morbid thing that I had heard, but it was very graphic, and it was during a very, like, prominent time in my... Like, 7th grade fucking sucks. You're gonna remember a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's just finish this paragraph. After she ends up getting the arrows, she heard PETA coming, who's pissed. He's like, what are you still doing here? He's like, run, get out of here. And he's just screaming at her to run.
And she's like, oh, what?
Yeah, literally, she's like, what? And finally she does, and as she's running, she starts to seriously hallucinate.
When the dab be hitting.
Good job. Great job. And she sees a butterfly grow as big as a house and then turn into stars. Trees turn into blood and fall down around her. And then if you don't like ants, skip. Yeah. But ants start crawling all over here. And she like falls into a pit lined with orange bubbles. And she knows that PETA saved her life, but she like can't think of much more because then the ants bore into her eyes and she blacks out.
This is what the CIA wanted LSD to be.
This is literally, they were like, ooh, I sure hope. And Suzanne Collins was like, boy, oh boy, do I have some motherfucking writing for you.
My favorite thing is the CIA creating LSD, and you know, they were the first ones to go, nightmare, nightmare, nightmare.
Yeah, literally. It's like, how do we get our friends to trip really fucking bad? I think we should just go one more chapter.
One more?
Okay. I think we'll be a little over an hour, but...
Yeah. Our dear listeners love our voices and what we have to say about our good books.
That's true. My good books. You haven't read.
All right, so we're wrapping up this episode.
I'm just joshing. You couldn't have handled this shit when you were a kid. I mean that in the nicest way possible. It's totally up to the kid if they can actually handle it.
My thing was more real fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And we've switched to a point where you like crime and shit like that, and I like more horror stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's very weird.
Chapter 15, it's nightmare time.
It's pain time.
And she's finally able to,
Do you mean to take that? Wait, one more time?
She is finally able to come to her senses, and she realizes everything was fake, but she does fucking hurt. She has no idea how long it's been or who's alive still, and all she remembers is, like, the day of the reaping, where Gale was like, we could go live in the woods, and she's like, fuck, I so should have done that. But this ends up making her think of PETA and how he had saved her life. And she's like, why did he do that?
Also, it could have not been PETA.
Yeah, it could have been anybody else.
It could have been a hallucination.
Mm-hmm. She decides not to give them too much brain space because she finally has her bow and arrow. She's feeling a lot more confident. She's like getting herself back in order, water, treating the burns, hunting. She cleans herself up, cleans the blood from the weapons, and she's like, wow, it wasn't green ooze. And she feels a lot better when she gets a rabbit and this strange fat bird that looks like a turkey.
Fat bird, fat bird. She's
cooking at dusk and she hears a twig snap. And then she sees like a small child's boot. And obviously it's Rue because she's, again, 12. Yeah. And the first thing that comes out of her mouth, she doesn't even think. She goes, you know, they're not the only ones who can ally. I'm like,
oh. What is it? A Dakota fire hole. Can we talk about that?
What are you saying?
Instead of the book?
For less than a minute, yeah.
Yeah, a Dakota fire hole is where you dig two holes next to each other, and then connect. Like, have you ever done that at the beach where you dig 2 holes and then try to like tunnel between them?
I didn't like sand as a kid, so
That's
no.
true. Okay, but you do that and then you light the fire in one, and it causes it not to smoke, and the fire is below ground level, so you can't see it.
You should have told Katniss these things.
I know,
babe.
right?
Dumb bitch. What?
You.
What? Am I breathing?
No, just call it Katniss a dumb bitch.
I don't like Katniss.
Out of nowhere.
I don't like Katniss. She's my arch nemesis. Katniss offers Rue food, and Rue offers her a remedy for her tracker jacker stings. And basically what it is she takes these leaves and chews them up. And Katniss is like, what?
Katniss is just like, nah, I'm chilling now, dog.
Bro, these fucking hallucinations are banger, bro. But, yeah, it's just some leaves she chews up because that's like the way they have to mix them. And Katniss offers her some of her burn medicine, and they become allies. And Katniss offers her the fat turkey, which is grusling is what Rue calls it.
Grusling?
And grusling, yeah.
Oh,
It's
like the bird.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
fat turkey bird, yeah. It's grusling.
I don't know if that's a real bird, but...
I don't think it is a real bird.
Hey, to our... What are they called? It starts with an O.
Orthopedia. What?
The people who like birds.
Oh, ornithologists?
Yes. Leave a comment down in the
It's
description.
not a bird. It's not a real bird.
Okay.
But if you want to leave us a comment, go right ahead.
Actually, I'm bleeping out what Blue said.
It's a...
Please let us know what...
The last time you bleeped me out, you didn't actually bleep me out.
Did I not?
No, you put your sound over it, but it didn't get rid of my sound.
I thought I did. Okay.
Okay, anyways, Rue is like, wait, I get a whole leg to myself? Katniss is like,
The most food she's ever had.
literally. They end up talking about it, but Rue has like 7 siblings, and she's
Jesus.
the oldest. So they start talking, and Katniss is dumb as fuck because she thought that since Rue's District 11, harvested the food, they would be able to eat it all. But Rue's like, are you fucking dumb? If we eat any of the food, they whip us in front of everybody.
Jesus.
They share their piles, and Rue is shocked to see that Katniss has the glasses, because they're glasses that help people see in the dark. In Rue's district, they get them during harvest time. They, like, hold them over for, like, nights and stuff. And one time, a simple-minded boy...
When they make them work 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that is the word.
Yeah.
A boy, simple-minded, not the smartest tool in the shed, tried taking them home once just to play with them, shot on sight.
Cool.
Hi, Stinky.
Cool.
And Katniss is shocked to hear this because she's like, oh, but my peacekeepers are so fucking chill. But Rue gives Katniss the lowdown. She was out for 2 days.
Wait. What do you think is the difference between Rue's... Rue's district...
Black. What were you saying?
What I was saying, what do you think the
Black.
difference...
For those of you who don't get it, the people from Rue's District 11, are commonly described as black in the book and in the movies. And Katniss's district is commonly described as white people. Racism.
And boony white people.
Yeah, boony, like
That's
hillbilly,
as white as you
redneck
can get,
folks.
dogs.
So, 2 deaths occurred. Katniss was out for 2 days, and there are 10 folks left. She also tells Katniss how Peeta is no longer with the career pack, and she thinks she's somewhere by the river. Thinks he's somewhere by the river.
Good time. You should have separated sooner.
Katniss says mean shit about Peeta, about how he was, like, acting, and she's like, Rue, you didn't believe all that love stuff, did you? And Rue's like, oh, I did.
Yeah, because she's a fucking child.
She's a child.
She is 12 years old.
And Peeta's telling the fucking truth. Peeta was, at least, you know? Yeah. So they talk, and Katniss realizes the only thing that separates the career pack from the other people is that the careers have food, but have never once had to feed themselves. So they start coming up with a plan for that. And I think that's where we're going to end it.
Yeah. That's true. Like, suffering does do a lot for your survival instincts.
Yeah. I mean...
It's just like, if you've been rich all your life and then duck down into poverty, you're gonna have a lot fucking harder time.
And then vice versa.
Even if you have more money than someone who's living in poverty their whole life.
Yeah. And, I mean, Katniss also mentions, I think, that in past years when the careers have lost their food, they typically don't survive. Mm-hmm. So, just something interesting. But, all right, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. When is this coming out? Next...
Tuesday? The 13th, yeah.
13th?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Tuesday the 13th, the spookiest day.
Yeah. You feeling good?
Feeling good.
Better about the Hunger Games as opposed to...
Yeah.
Jeez, I think this is going to be a 5-parter.
A 5-parter? Mm-hmm. For the first book?
I have a lot to say about the Hunger Games. So how'd you feel about it this time around?
I felt good.
Yeah.
This is coming out the 13th.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Happy Hanukkah.
Is it really Hanukkah?
Well, it'll be Hanukkah on the 18th.
So happy close to Hanukkah.
Yeah. Well, it will start and end before our next episode.
Before I sound...
Or no. It won't end before our next episode.
No, the episode after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Happy Hanukkah to those. Happy other holidays for other holidays we don't know. And happy Christmas, because this is America.
This is the Lord's podcast.
I heard somebody say that. They were like, happy holidays, happy
You're allowed
everything.
to say it now. You're allowed to say it.
And then they went, and happy Christmas, because this is America. And I was like, whoa, okay. Anyways.
This is a monotheistic nation,
And
we need to return to it.
Just as we landed here in the 1600s.
Should I say my fun pilgrim fact?
Maybe.
They didn't leave for religious freedom. They left because they were religious extremists.
Yes. And besides that, follow us on Twitter, at ReadingHostage. We're on the TikTok. We mostly just post pictures of our cats for clout.
Yes, if you
post videos of the cats for clout.
No, just pictures on the TikTok. We put one picture, no music, and then
just the cats.
We have it run for 30 seconds. Please watch all the way through. It changes the ad revenue.
Ad revenue. So we're on the YouTube. Subscribe, listen to us. We're at Reading Held Hostage. You can shoot us over an email if you want us to read anything. And not to beat a dead horse or anything, which I absolutely hate that saying, but...
Wait, have we ever put the email on the podcast?
Yeah.
Can we do it again? Because I do not remember the last time we said the email.
At readingheldhostage@gmail.com.
Okay.
Check us out. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, literally anywhere you listen to fucking podcasts. Google. Oh, name. Bleep that. Said he listened at Google. Google Podcasts.
Mm-hmm. I listen on Google Podcast.
Didn't leave us a review on Google Podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know if you can on Google Podcasts. So
just leave us a review.
Hop over to Spotify and
leave us a review there.
Yeah.
And check out your local library.
Yeah.
Just check them out. Libby is an awesome app. You can just read the stuff. You don't have to have a Kindle or anything. You can just read it on your phone or your iPad. So. Yeah.
Just read more.
All right. Well, don't read the books we're going to read. Read different books.
Yeah, don't fucking read the books we're reading.
We're reading Divergent next.
Our subtitle of our podcast is We Read It So You Don't Have to.
And what
don't read the books we're reading.
Or if you do, let us know if you have different opinions than we did.
I feel better about being weird in this little part because people are skipping.
I love when I listen to a podcast and it gets to this bit and like they're like, Are you still here? And I'm like, I am, because I have OCD, and one of my things in my OCD is I have to start from beginning to end. Yeah. So I start at the earliest episodes, which always sound terrible, and I listen all the way through to the end of the episodes, and so I'll listen, and they're like, are people still here? Yeah. And most of the time, folks aren't.
And if you're still here, we love you. And,
kiss on your cheeks. One cheek, two cheeks.
No, I'm kissing you right on the nose.
Okay, I thought you were going to say lips. I was like, babe, people don't like that.
And the eyelids.
In the eyelids.
Nose and two eyelids.
Yeah. Let us know which of our cats is your favorite.
Yes.
Based on the TikToks you see. There we go.
All right.
This was Reading Held Hostage. My name's Blue, and I love to read.
And my name's Justin. We went a little off the rails this week.
No, we're really on the rails. The rails just went in a loop-de-loop.
Okay, the rails are going crazy.
Yeah, we followed the rails. They just keep going. Oh my God!